So we've all saw already Bill O'Brien's officially out as the Houston Texans head coach, and I mean the writing was on the wall for the most part. 0-4 start. Over the offseason, he trades away the best wide receiver in the league for a second rounder in David Johnson. Just the whole general manager coach thing. It just never works. I'm tired of teams trying to be the copycat Patriots. Unless your name is Bill Belichick, it is not going to work, and it will never work unless your name is Bill Belichick. So I don't understand why teams keep doing it. Nonetheless, to be honest, I'm surprised he didn't get fired sooner. And when I say sooner, I mean like 3 or 4 years ago. I remember in the Texans, they were just a lost organization. Bill O'Brien had the job for like 3 or 4 years at the time. Like I think it's time to give him the axe. You know, stumbles upon Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins. I'm not going to say carried him to the playoffs 2 years in a row, but definitely helped out. And I mean, after an 0-4 start, I think it's right. They're left without a first rounder this year. They're left without their own second rounder this year. That's from the Laramie Tunsil trade to Miami last year. But listen, I mean, the pieces are still there. Yes, you don't have DeAndre Hopkins, but you still got guys like Randall Cobb, not Kenny Stills, Will Fuller. I don't know why I always get those guys confused. But you have a solid receiver core. You have, in my opinion, a top 5 quarterback in the league, MVP potential, no doubt about it. And a somewhat decent O-line. Actually, I wouldn't say that. I mean, other than Laramie Tunsil, who is the best left tackle in the league, they really got nothing. But I'd still say on paper that's the best team in the AFC South. You get 0-4 start. Maybe they can maybe still sneak a wild card spot because the Colts look pretty hot and the Titans are going to be a tough team to play against. But yeah, kind of a tough position for the Texans if I'm going to be honest. But now I just want to take this time and look at a couple other coaches who may get the axe. First things first, Adam Gase. I'm shocked Adam Gase hasn't been fired already. It actually came out this morning that he's naming Joe Flacco as the starter. So they're just blatantly giving up on Sam Darnold. You bring in Adam Gase because he's this quarterback guru, just because he had a cup of coffee with Peyton Manning, and everyone thinks he's this quarterback whisperer. We haven't seen it yet. And listen, I don't want to use the USC curse on quarterbacks because, I mean, if you look at the quarterbacks USC's produced, but I was never a huge fan of the Sam Darnold signing, but he still can't reach his potential under Adam Gase. Their offense, it's just so one-dimensional, and I feel like he's just chasing trends. Like, I remember last year he overused the Wildcat. Admittedly, I have not watched a lot of Jets football this year for good reason. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy to watch a Jets game. But listen, the writing's on the wall. They're 0-4, and they are a bad 0-4. It's not like a Houston Texans 0-4. It's like they're the laughingstock of the league, 0-4. I think, to be honest, knowing the Johnson family, they'll probably keep him till the end of the year and start looking. But no, the issue with the Jets, it's not the product on the field. It's the entire culture in that locker room. And Adam Gase he's definitely a burden on that. So maybe maybe appoint Greg Williams as the interim coach, but we'll see with Adam Gase. Next up, I got Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia's a pretty obvious one. I never understood why they fired Jim Caldwell in the first place. He went 9-7. I felt like the Lions were just kind of they were chasing the Patriots. It's what every team does. But Matt Patricia, from everything I've heard, terrible locker room guy. Obviously, the on-field product has showed. I mean, they went 5-11 his first year. I think they want to say like 3-12-1 last year because they had that tie in week 1. But no, it's not looking good. And if you look at how that team is just organized, they always crumble. They always crumble. I want to see a statistic of how many leads the Lions have going into the fourth quarter. They just blow it. Which brings me to my next team who should fire their head coach. It's the Atlanta Falcons with Dan Quinn. How many chances does Dan Quinn need? The Super Bowl was 4 years ago. 4 years ago, this guy took him to the Super Bowl. Absolutely nothing since. 7-9, 7-9, and I think they had another 7-9 in there somewhere. It's been a disaster. And listen, it's been a disaster when you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I understand people may not look at Matt Ryan as such. Look at his statistics. Matt Ryan is an elite quarterback in this league. You still have a top 5 receiver in Julio Jones. Todd Gurley's no slouch. A somewhat decent offensive line. And I know their defense is terrible on the field. On paper, it's not that bad of a defense. And this is a defensive coach. So I definitely think Dan Quinn's on borrowed time. Other names to throw out there, like maybe Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson's kind of a hot take, but I'll tell you what right now, if the Eagles don't win the NFC East, I would not be surprised if Doug Peterson is fired. Mike Zimmer's another one. I mean, yeah, they got the win against the Texans last week, but I think the Vikings are made for more than what they've shown in the past couple years. And I think a little bit of that is on Mike Zimmer. Vic Fangio maybe, but their entire team is in the hospital right now. Like everyone's injured on the Broncos, so I think he might get another year of leeway. But I think John Elway might have to start taking some hard looks in the mirror and saying like, what's going on here? Other than that, I'm trying to think of any other coaches. I think Anthony Lynn is fine. I don't think the Chargers are ready to give up on Anthony Lynn just yet. Matt Nagy, don't think so. I mean, the Jaguars won a game, so I don't know why Doug Marrone would even be considered as getting replaced. I don't think anyone expected the Jaguars to do anything. I expect them to go 0-16. They won their first game, and they've looked somewhat decent and somewhat competitive in their last three. So, yeah, man, that's all we got. Adam Gase, Matt Patricia, and Dan Quinn. Those are the coaches I'm predicting might get fired by the end of the year. Have a good one.